friends, it's Amy from Doki Doki Forest. Welcome. I'm so glad you are here. Now today is May 4th, so May the 4th be with you. That's right, it's Star Wars Day, and I love Star Wars. So we're going to talk about some pages I've done for May the 4th in my journals in the past. I'll show you some of those. Then we'll create a new page, and I'm going to do a little painting, a little sketching. Who knows what'll happen? First, we're going to talk about this. What is this? I know it's Lord Vader, but what is this thing on my desk? Now, the other day, I was talking about how you can take your children's old notebooks, school notebooks, and repurpose them and make them into glue books. And this is similar to that. This was a 3-ring binder, and it fell apart. It was still together at the time, but see this plastic here? It had this plastic on, and it was all ripped and tearing. It was all over the front cover and the back, and I just ripped it off because I was like, this looks awful. And maybe if I rip off this plastic, bumped the camera there, sorry about that. You know, I could turn it into a new journal. So I'll rip off the rest of this. Oh, this is actually coming off easier than I thought. Well, no, it's when it gets to this part at the end, but okay, yeah, we'll do that part later. But I was thinking I could make this into a Star Wars journal because it looks a lot better now that it doesn't have that plastic on it. And sure, it has some beat up corners because it was used for a whole year at school, but that doesn't really bother me. But look, you open it up and the inside looks so cool, and it's this nice heavy cardstock. But I love this with the quotes in there. Release your anger. Now I am the master. I find your lack of faith disturbing. And then this is the back, so you can see where this all ripped here. So I could just paint that. I could just put some paint on there, some black paint, and just kind of blend it in with this background here. And then on the back cover, it says Star Wars, and I love that. So I was thinking I could try to turn this into a journal, you know, and just put it back together again. Put some paper in, and I'm good to go. And of course, I was thinking I would have it ready for you for today. This journal ready to go. Let's make some pages. But that didn't happen. So I'm showing you what I have. And I'm thinking of turning it into a junk journal of Star Wars, maybe. I could do a movie theme with it. You know, I could do a childhood theme with it because I grew up watching these movies in the theater. Original trilogy. And yeah, so that's the project that's in progress. I will let you know how that goes. Then I thought I would go through some of my old journals. This is my very first Hobonichi journal I ever bought. It doesn't even have a cover or anything like that. You can see how bent out of shape this got. I didn't know what I was doing when I bought this Hobonichi, and I bought a full year. So this is January through December, and you can see I gave up somewhere around here because these pages are all clean, because I was like, this thing is getting out of control. That's when I realized I need to buy the Hobonichi that's split into two, the Avec, so that way I can have one half of the year here and another half in a different book, because mine tend to get a bit chunky with all the stuff I add. So this was my first journal. This is from 2019. Let's see what I did for May 4th. So I've got some stickers here. It was Saturday, May 4th. These are actually some old stickers from the 90s that I still had. So we've got Princess Leia there with a little alien, and R2-D2, of course. And I just wrote, it's very simple, you know, just May the 4th be with you, favorite Star Wars movie, Return of the Jedi, and then I wrote a memory of going to see it at the theater. And then just another sticker here. So it's very, very simple, but just fun. The next journal I will show you is my Hobonichi from 2022 with an Animal Crossing cover. And this is the Avec style. So as you can see, it's much more manageable when it gets chunky. It's not so unwieldy as this first one. Here's the comparison. So yeah, but this one does look cool. If you just like set it up like that on a desk, it looks kind of neat. You can see like all the colors and, you know, but I digress. Okay, so let's go to May 4th and see what we did. So this is where I realized that we have May the 4th be with you, but also Revenge of the 5th, like Revenge of the Sith. So I think this was the first year I realized that. So May the 4th be with you. New trailer dropped for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. A teeny bit of new scenes, including Vader getting his armor on. Just an arm, then a chest piece. I'm psyched. So on this day, we had Yoda sodas, which are 1 scoop of lime sherbet, Sprite or 7-Up, and a gummy worm on top. I made peanut butter cookies with Star Wars chocolates on top. Wow, I went all out that year. So I made these peanut butter cookies, and instead of a chocolate kiss, I had a chocolate Vader on there. And then Revenge of the 5th, I just talked about, let's see, got some toys for the kids. And yeah, I finished reading a Revenge of the Sith novel. So I was reading that to find out more about Anakin. And yeah, so anyway, that's that. And little did I know, I would actually wind up not liking this show at all. But this is when I was very excited. So here's my bigger Hobonichi. So this is the cousin. And so you can see the size difference between the original Techo and the cousin. And this is one that I work in sporadically. I'm not very good about using the cousin. I buy one every year. I do a few pages and then I, you know, go on to the next one. So what I really want to do is kind of see what ephemera I've kept possibly from this year, like maybe some of the boys' old stuff from school or something they've drawn, and just paste it in here. So that way I can use up the pages. But anyway, so on this one, I just did a lot of writing. So similar to what I wrote in the other one, but I was writing about new toy reveals that Hasbro Pulse revealed, and then the new Kenobi trailer, which I was very excited about. And yeah, so they had like a special YouTube event Hasbro did where they were showing some new toys. And then Revenge of the 5th, we watched not Attack of the Clones, but we watched 2 episodes of Star Wars The Clone Wars. And yeah, so this is just some writing. But later on, I continued the Star Wars theme with this 2-page spread. This is when I started watching Kenobi, and I was very optimistic, very excited. So here we have Obi-Wan Kenobi looking out over Tatooine. That little silhouette of Luke back there. He's watching over him. And then here's another page where there's a little sandcrawler in the distance on Tatooine. And here's another one where I've done like this big fossil. And then here's another page where I'm drawing or painting Vader's castle on the planet Mustafar, which has all this lava. So yeah, you can just get an idea of some of the pages I made that were Star Wars-y, even if it's not exactly Star Wars. And then this book is from, I think, 2023. So this is where I do a lot of mixed media prompts. And so I had prompts for, let me see, what were my prompts? Oh, we had the word spring. So my friend Chrissy and I exchanged prompts. They had to be Star Wars based. So, and you know, it had to start with the first letter. So S for speeder, P for Poe Dameron, R for restraining bolt, I for inquisitor, N for Newt Gunray, and G for Geonosis. So this is what I came up with. They're on the planet Geonosis. Here's Poe Dameron with a sparkle in his tooth. He's got a restraining bolt. He's wearing like a fashion statement. He's got these broken down vehicles. He's got a couple of different speeders here that are broken, and he's selling them. Dameron's deep space debris, And then we have the Inquisitor and Newt Gunray, who are the buyers who are coming over to buy something and are feeling a little dismayed by what they see. But Poe's got like his used cars salesman, vibe going, and he's trying to wheel and deal. So yeah, there's that. Okay. So what are we going to do today? I thought we could be inspired by the Ewoks, who were like some of my favorites. Here's a book, and there was an Ewok show. This is a vintage book from 1986, but I had like this little play set when I was a kid, and it had these Ewoks. Actually, I still have them somewhere. And yeah, I just thought it was really cute. I love this illustration style, or animation style rather. So I thought we could be inspired by some of these Ewoks and make a page of Ewoks, like just kind of cutely all together in my Hobonichi here. This is my Hobonichi for this year. It has a Paddington cover, front and back. I do need to put a little plastic protector on here. I don't have it on yet. All right, so we've got May 4th here, and I have not been very good about keeping up with this. I have to admit, I don't know why. I'm just, only so much time. And then this is my Hobonichi cousin that I've done like nothing in from last year. I did a few things, but not much. So I was thinking that we could go in here and just kind of glue some stuff, maybe do a little writing. And what are we going to glue? Well, I thought it would be fun to put this in. Look at this. Some stationery arrived the other day. Inside, an homage to the Ultimate Space Saga. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be good because now I have some things I can glue in a journal. So I'm like, this is going to be good. And I'm pulling it out, right? And then I get a tribute to the iconic saga, Star Wars. And I was like, oh, what do we have here? What do we have here? What? We have like Boba Fett's helmet in glass, in a glass jar. And I was like, this is just kind of weird. And then it's like, nope, we have the illuminated collector helmets, Vader and Boba Fett and Luke. I don't know how big these are. Are these like, oh, it says they're 6 feet tall. What? Shown slightly larger than actual size of, 6 inches, not 6 feet. That would be insane. Okay, shown slightly larger than actual size of 6 inches tall. So they're not very tall, but they're little lighted helmets. So maybe cool. I just thought it was very strange, like just very random, But lots of good stuff. I think we can cut that out. We can put something on here. We can write about like, okay, we've got some lighted helmets. So yeah, so I thought we could cut those things out, do a little page here, and do a little Ewok page here. So now I will go into the sped up part of the process where I'm just going to do some sketching here with my pigment liner, and then we'll do watercolor. Not on this one though, that's the 5th. We want the 4th, because the 5th, if I do Revenge of the 5th, I'll do something a little different. I think actually, now that I think about it, even though it is May 4th and Star Wars Day, we're actually going to see the Thunderbolts today. So I'm thinking that I will probably want to write about that here. So I think what I will do is actually draw the Ewoks around the edge. And then that way I have space in the middle to write about the movie. So let's do that. Okay, so this page is done for now. The only thing I did was I went over the black lines again because they get a little bit faded when you do the watercolor. And I like this kind of loose sketch. I think I'll go back in, and I had the little like pads on the toes and the bottom of the feet, so I'll probably go back with my white gel pen, put that in, maybe a couple little details here and there, but for the most part, that page is all set. I didn't leave myself a whole lot of room here, but I can always add another sheet of paper with some washi to do some writing if I would like. But I like having the Ewoks as a border. I don't usually do that sort of thing. I usually just have like a central image here, but I like this. It's something different, and yeah, I'm pleased with it. So next up, we're going to make a real quick page, Star Wars page in this cousin book. And what I'm going to do is just paint around the outside really quick. And I'm just going to get some different colors. I think that big, I'm going to use the Vader helmet. And I think that's going to take up pretty much the whole thing. So I probably don't really need to put too much around the border, but I just want to have something. So we'll just add some spacey kind of colors, some black, pink, blue, just all sort of different colors to kind of suggest going out into space and the galaxy. And like I said, I'm not really going to fuss with it too much because this is really going to get covered. So I can always add more if I need it. Oh, you know what I could do though? I could add, oh, you know what? I won't be able to see that May the 4th, will I? Well, that's okay. I could just write it again like I've been doing, but I could also splash some paint on here, like metallic paint, to give it a little extra spacey kind of vibe. And let's add some more color because I lost some of my color here. So let's add some of that. And we'll add some up here. But yeah, it's really quick to just fill in a page with watercolor. You could do this for any page and it would look good. I'm just going to do the whole page just so you can see. Like, you could just leave it like that, and that's cool. And then if you want to, you can put some paint. You could just, you know, get some paint on your paintbrush and just flick it. Anything looks good. I'm going to do some black. Again, I think this is going to get covered up, but I just kind of want you to see how you can quickly create a page. We'll try this silver. Sometimes this shows up and sometimes it doesn't. I do have some black on the page. So let's see. If you put it on the edges, you'll get a really nice effect. See that? So you can see where the silver kind of pushes out. And then you get like a galaxy or star sort of effect. So yeah, that's a real quick way you can fill up a page. That just took a few seconds. You don't have to be intimidated by the watercolors. Just put them on the page and let them do the work for you. So I'll let that dry. And in the meantime, I will cut out that Vader mask. Okay, so that's dry now. I'm going to show you again. You can just see the colors. You can see where that silver was splashed. And I just always love how that looks. No matter how many times I do it, it's like magic watching it bloom on the page. And by the way, I did say Vader's mask instead of helmet, so sorry about that. Here he is, ready for your collecting pleasure. I'm looking at this. He does take up a lot of the space. I also ripped out this little Star Wars logo. I figure I can just put it like that. Oh wait, I forgot to rip off these couple little letters down there. There we go. I can just kind of do that. And then I could do some journaling. Now you could make this. I could make this like a flip. You could do something like that. So you could have this on the front and then flip it down and do your writing here. So the only thing you would want to do, this is flimsy, so I would want to back that onto a piece of cardstock. So maybe I will do that. Let me see what I have. Okay, so he is backed onto the magazine cover. And then on the back, I just used a piece of this black paper, pasted him on there, cut it out, and now the back is covered so that way you don't see the magazine stuff on the other side. So next, what we want to do is get Vader in here. We got to make him flippable. I'm going to try to use this washi if I can get it to peel off. I have this like, well, these are bubbles. I thought this was like a galaxy. It's like shells and stuff. That doesn't quite look Star Wars-y. And it looks cool. But shells don't really fit. So, all right, let me go see what else I have. Okay, I have this washi. It's a little bit blue, but it will do. A little blue, but it'll do. I'm going to put a little bit of glue, extra glue on the back there. Oh, a big blob came out. We don't need that. And then we'll just kind of glue or tape that right here. Okay. Then we'll put this piece on the back. And that will give us a flippable Vader there. And we're just going to keep it simple. I just ripped this off of that same page. Now I have this one and I have this one. And we're just going to keep it simple. I'm going to use this Sharpie creative marker. And yellow is great because, you know, in the movies, the opening scroll is yellow. So we're kind of hinting at that with this. Although it doesn't show up as much as I was hoping. I'm going over it again, but I may add another color around the outside. And then we can just kind of put this here. Or we could put this up here. We could put this one here. Put that one on. Actually, I like that there, I think. Let's glue that one up there. All right, and I just went over that again with the yellow to try to get it to show up a little more. And then I have a white here, so I'm just going to see if I can draw some stars with this white marker, which does not seem to be working as well as I had hoped. I'm going to use this Zig color dot, metallic dot pen, and see if I can add some little silver dots. Those don't really show up either, but I can add them to this black card. They'll really show up on this cardstock. So I can do that for like a little background, and I can always write over it, but then I've got like kind of this little hint of stars. Like some going off the page too. So it looks like they keep going. All right, I'm just going to add some of these stars, even if you don't see them too well. Okay, so we made two kinds of Star Wars pages today. One, an illustrated page featuring Ewoks, and the other, this more junk journal-y sort of spread featuring a flyer from the mail, which you can flip down, and then just some words and a little bit of watercolor painting. So May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day. I used my Posca markers because that Sharpie one wasn't working in terms of the white color. So I took my Posca white marker, drew some stars, and then I went in with the blue and I just like added a little bit of shading to the letters and wrote Happy Star Wars Day. So you can either just write May the 4th be with you, or you can do a little painting, or you can paste in a picture from a magazine. You could do that here, or you could print something out. You could write down your favorite Star Wars movie or show or book or character or anything like that. Or, you know, you don't have to do anything at all. But let me know if you're a Star Wars fan, which movie is your favorite. And also, if you haven't seen them, do you think you ever will? Or do you have no interest? That's fine too. You know, there's something for everyone out there. We don't all have to like the same stuff. But thank you so much for joining me on this Star Wars Day. I hope you have an awesome day. May the 4th be with you, and I will see you again soon.